Hello everyone, my name is Nick Mangus, and with me again to be my audience is Jesse Chanel. This week's speech, I will be reviewing a case brought before the United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit. The case itself is MultiCare Health System versus Washington State Nurses Association, or WSNA. The procedure starts off with Danielle Franco Malone stating that she's a representative for WSNA and would like an audience with the court. Over the course of the speech, I will discuss what the hearing was about, the impression that I got from the hearing, the facts and the arguments from it, as well as stating the precedents of the case, and I will use Benson to analyze the case. To begin, the hearing was about the WSNA felt that the MultiCare Health System was not fulfilling the promise from the previous court issue about nurses being properly relieved from duty. The nurses themselves are working 12 to 14 hours, and there are too many patients for them to handle. Previously, it was decided that a buddy system would be in place. According to the arbitrator, the buddy system failed the promise of MultiCare that the nurses would be affirmatively relieved from their case duties, as well as it would not be taking care of the nurses and patient ratios in the hospitals. What the representative was trying to achieve was that the decision that the arbitrator came to, if MultiCare did not receive a satisfactory relief for the nurses. On the other side of the argument, Karen Jones stated that she is representative for MultiCare. She was trying to argue that the court has no choice but to refuse enforcement of the award. She cited a 2000 case of Garvey versus Roberts. The representative for MultiCare stated that the buddy system should be given a second chance and could be improved by stronger communication between the management and ensuring that the nurses are not taking on too many patients themselves, and figuring out a better schedule for when the nurses can take their breaks. The outcome of the approval has not been decided yet. Since this was the first time I've ever witnessed an appeal, I wasn't too sure what to expect. I assumed there would be a lot of lawyer jargon going on. And to be honest with you, I was kind of confused on the whole process. So I actually wound up watching it multiple times. I did find that when each lawyer came to the stand, they were saying, if it may please the court. I'm assuming this is just one of those welcoming things, an introduction to a speech. But it kind of seemed like one of those old-timey things that people decided to hold on to. Once both lawyers started their speeches, the judges cut them off almost immediately. In almost no time at all, actually. I would have thought that the lawyers could have given their speech, and then at the end of it, the judges could have cut in and asked questions, but this was not the case. To be honest with you, I thought it was slightly rude, but I'm assuming this is just the way it works. When the lawyer for WSNA concluded that she asked for additional time so she may rebuttal what the other lawyer had to say. Moving on to the third thing. The third section was talking a lot about the facts of the case, the arguments as well. During this section, I will quote both lawyers' previous decisions on the case were made. The first thing that the judge asked was if the WSNA was offered a secondary choice by the MultiCare Health System if the buddy system was not a feasible option. The lawyer responded with no. The same lawyer brought up an example. The same lawyer brought up an example that the ambulance medic instructive, which agreed that the employers could not fire the employees unless there was probable cause, as well as an intruder could only straight 3 months of back pay. She continues to say that when there are conflicts like that, it is up to the arbitrator to decide how to reconcile those conflicts according to the court. Later in the video, she mentions that after 2 years of using the buddy system, the arbitrator deemed it was non-viable if the hospital were to make its obligations. The representatives for the MultiCare argues that the buddy system has indeed been effective, and with a few exceptions of a few units, it's working very well. So there's only a few units which are actually having problems, but for the majority as a whole, everyone is getting it. She continues on to say that the remedy imposed by the arbitrator devised from the terms, parties, contracts in the two. 1, prohibiting a blanket party prohibition of the buddy system through the hospital. 2, mandating that the MultiCare increase staffing units of the hospital. The arbitrator found this was not correct. MultiCare rejected the disagreements. When discussing the case's precedents, I think that it comes down to the fact that there are too many patients for the nurses to deal with. This has caused nurses to not get their breaks in time, and they're too fatigued to do their jobs properly. This is incredibly important when we're talking about nurses who are in charge of the ICU unit, or nurses that are administering medicine. These are something that can have very big ramifications if it's not taken care of.
Yeah.
To analyze using the Benson writing, I will mention that in the end of the video, the lawyer for MultiCare shows concern about the arbitrator being able to make unbiased opinions. I think that it is possible that the arbitrator used a symbiotic web to come to the conclusion